Hiya! I never did this before, but there's this trend on YouTube of commentary videos. It's very simple. You play the video you want to react to, then you stop the video every few seconds to add commentary. I guess that's what I'm doing. Because I found a video about a topic that I probably talked about on a couple of my videos. It's of course about Nintendo, a really hot button issue lately. Videos always coming out about how Nintendo bad, do not buy. I found one of these videos, but they actually disagree with all of that. Just so you know, these kind of people makes me really mad. So let's talk about it. So I'll play the video, and whenever I want to add commentary, I'll show some gameplay like you're seeing right now. Also, I don't know if this is important or if it matters, but this video came out 5 months ago after the first Nintendo Direct of the Switch 2. Okay, let's get started.
Nintendo just had their Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and it hasn't exactly been received well by the crybabies on the internet.
I'm sorry, it's only 5 seconds into the video, and I already have to say something. Crybabies? Seriously? I mean, people have a reason to be upset, but I'll just go on.
Most of that hate comes from straight misinformation and inbred incels who clearly don't know what they're talking about, ranging from the technical aspect of the console, the economic aspect, and the cost of the games themselves. I'll be getting into all that on my official thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2. Here's the thing. I would like to make clear I am not here to glaze Nintendo and support their increase in price, just to provide accurate information and not the misinformation I've been seeing on the internet. Let's start off with the technical aspects of the Switch 2. I saw people complaining that the 1080p screen in 2025 is a joke, which is straight up dumb and likely took all of their brain power to type that up in a TikTok comment section. The difference between a 1080p 8-inch screen and
Okay, I'm actually going to skip this part of the video because he's talking about things I don't really care about. I don't care about 4K or pixels or resolution bullshit. But this is important to a lot of people who plays video games. People talk about it all the time as if it matters. What really matters is the games and the gameplay, but whatever. But some people seem to think the higher 4K or pixels or whatever you call it is enough to justify the high price. But we'll be getting into that later.
I also saw talks about the game keycards Nintendo announced. I have a few things to say about that. I think it's fine, only because of how transparent Nintendo is with these keycards. On the website, they require companies with physical copies to have a whole chunk of the case tell the consumer that it's a game keycard. Not all Switch 2 games are going to be like this though. The logical explanation for this is Nintendo is pushing for bigger titles to be on the Switch 2, like Cyberpunk 2077, which are big titles and may use more than the 64 gigabytes per cartridge, so they will require data to be downloaded from a server. I think it's good that Nintendo is disclosing if a game is a keycard or not, if they do decide to use them on their own titles.
Yeah, not every game is going to be a game keycard, but some people aren't happy with it for good reason. Like, you can't sell your old games if they're a game keycard because you can only download the game once to your system. Or what if you get locked out of your account? I mean, I don't sell games, so this really isn't an issue for me. But it does seem like an inconvenience for some.
Much as the C button on the Switch 2 should have been Call Luigi, so Luigi could help you become Elden Lord, is actually the voice chat feature, which is a long time coming, by the way, but any feature added should be taken as a win, not a reason to hate on the console. What is unfortunate is that somehow, it doesn't matter what they do, they'll get hate for it. This is because after a certain amount of time, Nintendo will put the feature behind the Nintendo Switch Online subscription. Well, sure, if the voice chat feature was locked behind the expansion pack to use it, yeah, that'll be a reasonable thing to hate on, but no. Base Switch Online is $20 a year.
$20 a year is way too much money. I'm poor.
Come on, if you're seriously complaining about $20 a year in the first place, you shouldn't be in the market for a new console to begin with. You should be lined outside the local food bank. We cannot be serious right now. Chances are you will not be using the feature unless you're playing online games anyway, which need an online subscription to play in the first place.
I agree with this. $20 a year isn't a lot. But what I think why most people have a problem with this is because without a Nintendo subscription, you won't have access to the cloud. The cloud saves all your data to your account. So if you're unable to do the transfer, like if your system becomes unusable or, gets stolen, the cloud has your back. You just gotta pay $20 a year. People just don't like this feature is behind a paywall. And the thing about the camera and how you have to pay for that, too, is another reason why people are upset. because this is one of the biggest things to come out of the Direct. It's one of the biggest features of the Switch 2. And on top of having to buy a $50 camera, you also have to pay a $20 a year subscription.
The price of the console has gotten a bit of hate towards it. At first glance, sure, it is expensive, but after I talked about the costs that are factored into the final price, like the dock, the price for the console is a pretty fair price for what you get.
Pretty fair price for what you get? Did we watch the same Direct?
The price of Mario Kart World is $79.99 MSRP. I saw that and I was honestly taken aback. However, this was going to happen. It didn't matter which company was going to do it first, because they're all going to follow suit soon. I wish they kept it the same price, but they won't. At the end of the day, Nintendo is a business, like literally all other businesses in existence. And people seem to think they're entitled to gaming companies taking a loss on all their product. Like if we compare $59.99 USD from 2017 to the inflation of today, it is around $79.99 in today's money. All Nintendo is doing is marking up the price to account for inflation, which is what everyone is doing. It's how the economy works. With an economy comes inflation, and a little bit of inflation is natural, just as long as wages keep up with that inflation, which they're not, because the grocery bill and utility bills are already really high, and games are following suit with the prices going up to accommodate that inflation. It's not really fair to blame Nintendo for increasing their prices.
It's a $450 console you can't do anything with right out of the box. It baffles me that some people are okay with this price increase because of inflation or Nintendo is a business. It's like people are forgetting what the 3DS had at launch. Face Raiders, AR games, Mi Plaza, and later Swap Doodle. These were free, fun features that came pre-installed with the console, or that the Wii came with Wii Sports. But the Switch 2 has features locked behind a paywall with the price increase of the system. So I don't know, can we blame Nintendo a little for giving us jack shit? And I love how he doesn't even mention that Welcome Tour costs $10. Also, if your argument is the price increase is okay because of the dock included, then why don't they make a cheaper alternative like a Switch 2 Lite?
There are people on the internet saying how the Switch 2 is the same thing. Yes, it's what we wanted. The Switch was already a great console. Why would Nintendo throw away the $1 million idea to make something brand new? They won't. People have been asking for a better spec Switch for years. I know this because of the prevalent Switch Pro leaks. They would appear every week a few years ago, which ended up being an OLED Switch, and at the time to create a Switch Pro wasn't great at the time because of the 2021 chip shortage, so the console would have been a lot more money for just a Pro variant of the console. The Switch 2 was the most logical choice for Nintendo to create because they addressed the existing issues of the console.
Yeah, the Switch 2 is the same as the Switch, but that's the problem. It doesn't feel like a new console. It's just an upgraded version to something we already own. Except, with higher prices on the games. And what issues did they address? People are still complaining about Joy-Con drift till this day. But to be fair, this video was made before the Switch 2 released. So there is no way of knowing that Joy-Con drift would be back.
The Nintendo Switch 2 complaints have been very over-exaggerated, to say the least. I don't want the console because it's too much money, or I can't afford it. Everything is getting expensive.
Earlier in the video, he said he wasn't gonna support the price increase. But on screen right now, he's saying it's a fair price.
And if everything is going up, we can't expect some random industry to keep the prices the same.
Yeah, it would be nice if they did keep the prices the same. But if that's not possible, why not a compromise? Why don't they give us free applications as mentioned earlier? Why don't they have something like the Miiverse was? It goes without saying the Nintendo fans that are okay with the price of the console and that they get nothing in return to make up for that price is people who has so much money. $450 is nothing to them. I once got a comment in a video about the Switch 2 and they said it was more than reasonable price. Look, whenever I get a Switch 2, I'm not going to be happy about the price. I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I got a deal or that I didn't get taken advantage of. People like this clearly never lived without money. In what world is this more than a reasonable price? That you had to pay $50 extra for Mario Kart? At the end of the day, this is very subjective. If you want to watch this full video without my commentary, I linked it below. But if you want to see the comments below this video, some are agreeing with him and others are disagreeing. Finally, someone is smart about this situation to All of your arguments are shit. Someone actually replied with a thumbs up to this comment. It's kind of funny. But for me, I don't care what other companies are doing. I don't care how many pixels your console has, or 4K, or resolution bullshit. I want to play some fucking games. It's just a Switch with a bigger screen. And if you want to play a Switch with a bigger screen, then play on the TV. Anyway, thanks for watching my video. See you later, and watch other videos on screen of me complaining about video games. Bye!